Right, hello everyone. Sunday edition of Crypto with English. I'd like to warmly welcome a Miami-based artist, an NFT artist in particular. Now, you may have seen some of her pieces floating around social media. I know I have. I'd like to introduce to you all Maria Tokareva. She is a up-and-coming and you could say getting close to a mainstream type of a NFT artist. Now, she is the engineer and architect behind the Miss Frey collection. And if you haven't seen it already, it is a collection of cartoonish females in different colors and in different styles, but they all have the same theme linking them together. So today we're going to get into the weeds about NFT art, NFT collections. What makes a collection? Oh, there you go. What makes
I
a,
have them here.
right? I see that. And what makes a collection a collection? Like what makes it work? So we're gonna get into the nitty gritty about her background, the inspiration behind Miss Frey, and also for any NFT artists up and coming, and they're trying to figure out this new Web3 metaverse blockchain environment. Maybe some tips on how some of those out there can get started, because Maria definitely has her own type of, I guess you could say, hero's journey from start to now. And, we're very much looking forward to the next chapter and how everything plays out this year. And just to keep everybody in mind, too, she does have her own gallery in Miami as well. So, like I said, especially for those in South Florida, as a betting man, I'm quite sure you have seen at least one or two of her pieces somewhere in Miami. So, Maria, thank you very much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to share about the Miss Frey collection and how this whole thing came out to be and the people behind it. And I'm gonna show like these are the stickers that I made from the collection. I wanted to
Right.
bring the collection like to the physical world because I feel like it's important to be able like to hold something and to touch it and to
Yes.
like physically feel what it is. And for example, this message one is love is real, which is one of the messages that I want to bring to this world. This one is dreams come true. And
Yeah.
it all ties together to the reason why I created the collection and the type of work that I do behind just the artwork, but how I want to inspire people to believe in themselves, to know that every single dream that they have, it's possible and it can be true. And through these very kind of funky girls that are colorful
Right.
and they're very unique because like each one of them has a different emotion, has a different story. Like all of us,
Right.
have a life that is very different, so very unique. So that's where
Absolutely.
it all comes from.
Uh,
And yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Well, listen, and I am glad that you're here. So, if you could tell everybody what is the inspiration behind Miss Frey, and if you'd like, in a moment, I can do a screen share that shows the Miss Frey website and the specific NFT section, if you find that helpful.
Okay. Okay, that would be perfect. That would be great.
Okay,
Yes.
sure.
So the inspiration behind the project is that we want to create a community based in people that believe in the magic of the universe, which is the power of believing in ourselves.
Right,
And I want to encourage them that to know that their dreams can come true, that love is real, that we together, like as a big family, can help each other, can inspire each other, can bring more artists and also more female artists to the space of NFTs and bring them an opportunity to know that there is a world out there that is very incredible and very powerful, and it's a technology that a lot of people should know how to use because this really is the future. Some of our
absolutely.
paintings are already being showcased in people's homes in the metaverse, which is
Right,
one of like the coolest things. Like we get those pictures or those videos of like a home tour in the metaverse and they have the Miss Frey NFT right there.
right,
And it's
right,
just like, to me as an artist, it's a dream come true to be able to see my paintings in people that are so far away from me because back in the days I was limited to the location, right? So unless you were here in Miami, you were coming to my event,
Right.
you couldn't really see what I was doing, only, like on social media, but it's not the same as being there and feeling it and seeing it for yourself. So that's why I decided to make these stickers, because I wanted to, remind people like, yes, we are kind of in this transition to the metaverse and online and digital, but still, like, I was born in the 90s, so like to me it's very important to hold to these memories, to have like pictures with Polaroids and
Sure.
things like that.
That's awesome.
So we, yeah,
Yes. Yes, continue.
I just wanted to say that
Okay.
one of the things that we want to bring with this collection is that we want to bridge the gap between the real art world and the NFT world, and show the talented artists of the real world that there's also this incredible opportunity to be able to be known in the world through the blockchain, through the NFTs, through the metaverses, through the like online museums and galleries that we have been creating in partnership with other businesses as well, which is one of my favorite things, because we get to collaborate with people that are building different things that kind of like complement the NFT world. So there
Right.
are games, there are a bunch of like different experiences that you can have in the, I guess, online reality, but still feeling like what we're doing right now, right? We're doing this live stream. You are in New York, I'm in Miami, but
Right.
we're here in the same space and the same time together.
Right. And I have to say, as somebody who was born in the mid 80s, so I look at the collection, it reminds me of maybe a few cartoons. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but I do notice some of the figures are clothed rather. Some of them are naked. Was that intentional?
100%, because
Okay.
my real life paintings, like I would call them IRL paintings, they show the women, most of them are naked, like all of them are naked. I always paint them,
Sure.
like, I'm gonna show you, this is a shoehorn that I made,
Right.
and it's like one of these girls. And I like to make them naked because for me, it's like we come to this world naked, right? We
Yes.
have our feelings and we create memories as we go, and we create like a persona, or we create ourselves how we want to experience this reality and who we want to be, whether there is a doctor, an artist, whatever you choose to be. But we, at the end of the day, we all come naked, and I feel like that's such a pure way to be. Just,
Right.
you are here and this is what you have. But I have fun with fashion and I love fashion, so
Sure.
I did give them a lot of different outfits and accessories to play with. But the naked ones are actually very rare in this collection, so if you get a naked one, it's very special. Hold on to that one.
Okay. Got it. So understood. So what was it like? I guess you can say, putting this idea together, the time and energy, and I guess you could say, anywhere from, I guess you could say, the penciling or coloring. Like, what processes are going through your head with each and every individual piece?
So it's I would say like it's a trance that I go into, because I start by inspiring myself with colors, and I start to choose like different colors and play with that, and then it just goes from there. And sometimes it's like a meditation, when you're doing
Right.
yoga and you're just breathing and you don't really know exactly where you are, what you're doing, but you're just in the flow. That's exactly what
Right.
happens to me when I paint. And then I realized it, and I look at them and I was like, oh, okay, so these are all the different emotions that I was going through, I guess, in my mind or my memories as I was painting them. So it's really fun for me to do it. That's my favorite part of the project, to
Wow.
create the artworks.
Wow, that's awesome. And how long have you been practicing as an artist?
So I've been painting all my life since I can remember, since I was very, very young. I went to like painting school when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and then I dropped it. Then I went into fashion, and then 7 years ago, when I moved to Miami, I went to Wynwood, and I saw all these people painting everywhere, like big walls in all of like every corner. There's a different mural,
Right.
and I'm like thinking, wow, these people, they are creating, they're being supported by other people to do what they really love to do.
Right.
And I say, what if I can be one of those people? Can I paint every single day of my life and never get tired of it? And I found out that yes, I can. And I started doing it. I started painting just in my room. I said myself, I'm gonna do a 21-day challenge where I'm just gonna paint every day and see what happens. And after 21 days, I understood, yes, this really is something that I can do and I can never get tired of creating. Like, so that was like understanding how to express myself as an artist. That's what came out. And from there, just participating in different art fairs, putting on my own events, painting on clothes, because
Right.
I thought, the best way for people to interact with art is wearing it. They become the piece of art, it becomes a conversation piece.
Right.
So most of my early paintings are actually on clothes, and the people
Yeah,
who
and I
who,
saw that.
who bought those clothes, they would tell me like, I would never sell this, I rarely wear it because it's an art piece. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's so cool that people think that.
That's awesome. So, and not to get too philosophical here, but when I've spoken with artists, they do tend to repeat this overall theme, painting what they feel. So, in your case, what are you feeling when you I guess you could say you have an idea, you're going to create a piece. Let's say it's part of Miss Frey or something else. Is there like a consistent, maybe general feeling you have, or that you want to
Love,
communicate?
100%.
Love.
Love, 100%. That's like my one emotion that I feel like I came to this world to experience. And to me, that's the most powerful feeling and emotion and energy in this world, because love, it really can be experienced in so many different ways. It can be
Right.
beautiful, it can be painful, it can be challenging, it can be fulfilling. So there's like a very wide range of emotions that you can feel love through and experiences. So that's why the different expressions in the faces of the Miss Frey, because at the end of the day, everything is love, but not all the moments are felt in the same way or perceived loved in the same way.
Right. And love can be layered, love can be complicated. So, and I look at the pictures and the different coloring and the different styles. Some are naked. Maybe that means they're either more vulnerable or maybe more open. And some who are clothed, maybe that means certain people are more guarded or certain people are less trusting. I don't know. I might be looking a little too deep in it, but kind of taking what you're saying. Like that's kind of how I'm trying to grasp it at the moment.
I love that. I love your perception of this collection. I really like it. That's a really good to hear.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, like I said, this is, your art pieces. I've seen them around social media for quite a while, and in fact, a mutual good friend of both of ours, in fact, uses it as her avatar. So, to say the least, these pieces of, the Miss Frey collection is getting a decent amount of visibility to, to say the very least, and going through your website, I noticed that you use Solana. Can you tell me a little bit about that and why Solana? And I will say this: a lot of, I guess you can say, pieces of NFT art, they're on Ethereum, but people do complain about Ethereum, like gas fees and things like that. So if you can tell me, some of your thinking about that.
Exactly. Yes. So when back in the day, last year, when all our team came together and we were thinking about how we were going to launch the collection, what would be the best way. We wanted to launch the collection fairly fast because we just were so excited about it. We all wanted to do something, on the same page.
Right.
It was so magical. All my life, I pretty much wanted a group of people that had the same vision, the same power, like to
Same
make
passion.
this
Yeah.
dream come true. Exactly. So, and when I found it, we said, you know what, Ethereum for sure, because of the gas fees and because our budget for this collection, we didn't have like an unlimited budget to create it. So we
Right.
wanted to make sure that we we were gonna do something that was very like a lot of quality, that was safe. Like security was one of the number one priorities for us. So the team that we find to actually create and put together the back end of the collection. So I did the artwork, but there's a lot of things to do the contract, like the NFT, the digital contract that goes embedded into each one of the NFTs.
Yeah.
So for that, we decided that Solana was going to be the faster way for us to do it, and also like for the people who mint, the gas fees are pretty much minimal.
Right.
So that's why we wanted to do it, and yeah, so far it worked out pretty well. I think people
Yeah.
have no complaints about it. You know, it's easy to mint. You go to a website, you click it, you connect your Phantom wallet or your Slope wallet, and you just can have it right there. And now Phantom released a wallet for the phones, so now you can have it on your phone, and it's like you can interact more with it pretty much.
Right. And are you talking about the Phantom wallet?
Yeah, the Phantom
Okay.
wallet.
Okay. Got it. Oh, that's awesome, and I think that's a very good alternative, especially in light of a lot of the feedback about Ethereum. Speed issues, the gas issues, and and things like that. So, as far as showcasing your art, showcasing Miss Frey. Um, why? Let's say why Miami? So I know you're already down there, but maybe some people would say, "Oh, why not do this in New York? Why not do this in San Francisco or Los Angeles?" So, what was
Right.
some of your thinking?
Okay, so when I was 21, I moved to Seattle. I lived there for 4 years. It was too cold for me. I
Yeah, I
went
can
living
imagine.
in to Los Angeles. After that, I moved to Los Angeles for 8 months, and I don't know. I didn't really found the click there. I didn't found like that much inspiration. It was like to me very, I don't know, not to say basic, but it was for me, in my opinion, it was
Sure.
just a basic city that was not inspired by. And
Yeah.
then when I went to Miami, I just felt like I was home. I was born in Russia, I lived in Colombia, I lived in many different places.
Wow.
Like I love traveling, but I never felt like I was home anywhere else. But when I came to Miami, I just felt it, like the weather, the people. It's such an international place. There's always something going on. It's a 24-hour, art city. There's always art events going on. So I feel
Right.
like for me, that was it. I just like I knew I was gonna live here for a really, really long time. That was gonna be my home base.
That's awesome. And since you've been making art before, I guess you could say, the NFT craze and the NFT trends, what are some of the obstacles for an artist? So, if you're creating a collection, you want people to look at it, and ideally, you want people to start buying pieces of your art. How expensive is it to really get started up? What I guess you could say art galleries and art houses should you know as you get started or before you get started? Things like that.
Okay, so in the NFT world is very much different than in the IRL world, because the way that I started, the way that I did it was I got chosen to participate at this art fair called Export X Contemporary during Art Battle 2016. So for me, it was like, okay, I just need to create pieces. I need to bring them there. And the challenge
Yes.
back in the days was that, first you have to invest the money in the materials, then money in transportation, then money to applying to these art fairs. And like, there's just a lot of cost that goes behind
Right.
artwork in the real life. It just, if you want to create a very big piece like Jackson Pollock, that
Oh yeah.
his pieces are massive,
Right.
like you have to think about like later on, if you want to ship it somewhere, that's going to be a lot of, costs
Right.
to that. But with the NFT collection, it's everything is digital, so you don't have stock, you don't have, everything is just very much more accessible, and the way to interact with it is a little bit different. You still can have a print of it, so that's why when you mint the NFTs, one of our challenges minting the NFT collection was the high resolution quality.
Right.
So when you upload your collection into Airwave, that's a service for you to have your collection there, because you cannot have your NFTs collection in a website, because let's say this website,
Right.
something happens or it goes down. So like, what's going to happen to your NFTs? So they have to be in a place that is going to be there forever, for like, for,
Right.
hundreds of years at least. So Airwave is the system, but what it does, it compresses the quality of the NFTs as you kind of upload them there.
Right.
And then we have to create a channel specifically for people to request high resolution images, so that way they have the contract NFT with a little bit lower resolution, but then we give them the high resolution in case they want to do a print of it or they want to interact with it in some other ways.
Got it. And as far as your physical collection, Miss Frey paintings, what materials
Mhm.
go into that? As far as, paints or the canvas that you use, or, any other type of like additional gear or, brushes you have to use.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show you some of the tools.
Sure.
So I use these to cut cable that sometimes I put in there. I like to use different random things. This is a wood panel, and so I like
Wow.
painting in wood panel because it's a lot of fun. This painting, for example, is it's called what is it? It's called Have You Seen the Cap of My Pen? And it's pencil that has been like it's been broken, and you see like this is kind of like the ink that went into the floor, and these are different
Yeah.
pieces of the pencil. And then but the cap is missing, and the cap is not in the painting, but if you really look close by, the cap is actually here on the side. Let me see,
Wow.
right
Yeah.
there. So it's like kind of like conceptual, so it's like it makes you think like, oh, where is this cap? And then when you find it, it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, I like to use honestly all type of different things. I have this crayon pens over here that is like a lipstick. It goes very smooth.
Right.
And then I have
Wow.
acrylic paints. I have neon paints. I have all types of different brushes, scissors. Like I can show you. This is my lovely collection. These are my favorite brushes actually. This one is to use with ink. These other ones are like for very, very fine details. I also
Right.
have spray cans. I have this. I'm gonna show you. The last one is
Yeah, by all
my
means.
favorite gold paint. Is my very special gold paint.
That is
So
awesome.
yeah, so I guess I have a bunch of things that I interact with it. So I will call it like mixed media.
Right. That's pretty cool. So, in terms of the physical art pieces of Miss Frey, is is there like an estimate? Like, how long does each piece take? If you could come up with like a number, like on
Hmm.
average.
Okay, well, it really depends. Like my first painting that I have ever painted, my first canvas that I painted here in Miami, it took me 3 years and a half to finish it. And
Wow.
between those 3 years and a half, it got stolen by an
Oh.
art dealer, and I
Ugh.
had to break in his art gallery while he wasn't there and take my painting back. And it he had given my painting to another artist to paint
Wow.
over it. And I'm assuming because the painting itself, I had written on top of it the words, "This is stolen art," as a conceptual way to
Yeah.
let people think that this artwork was stolen, but it actually got stolen after the fact that I
Right.
wrote on it. And then I had to steal it back. And I ended up painting just this beautiful, like blue with the clouds.
So that'd
So it
be kind
looks
of like
like a
art
window to
imitating
the
life
sky.
in many ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Wow.
that was fun. And so yeah, and so my other pieces take me 4 years because in real life I don't paint unless I have the urge to express myself through painting. So I don't sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna paint the Mona Lisa or I'm gonna paint a bridge. No, I have a feeling and I have to express it, and whatever comes out of it, then that's gonna be the art piece. So I don't premeditate what I'm going to do.
Right, and that definitely makes a lot of sense, especially if you're playing around different themes, different emotions, or even if you're toying around different inspirations in your head. I would imagine it's kind of like a case by case type of scenario, and I would imagine
Yes.
some are probably faster than others, to say the
Of
least.
course, of course.
Yeah,
No, I have like different pieces over here I can show you that
sure.
it takes me like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And let's see. Let's see, these artworks, I actually used flowers from real flowers to create these ones.
Oh wow. That's pretty
These ones
cool.
are more abstract. Yeah, and these ones I can just sit down and I can finish one of these in like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It just
Right.
depends. But yeah, this was my collection of Miss Frey flowers. And then I
Right.
mix them with some paint as well and give
Oh
them the
wow,
design.
that's
So
pretty cool.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
That's incredible, I have to say. So would it be fair to
This
say
is
that on Oh, what's that one?
I just wanted to show you this piece has I think you'll appreciate it. This is like a mic, like those foamy things that you put in the
Sure.
mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like inside of the piece. So
Oh wow. Very very cool. And would it be fair to say that, like on a daily basis, you're at least painting or stenciling or sketching something related to your craft?
100%. I love to write as well. So I have like probably 15 of these books of diaries that I write, that I sketch, that I put my ideas in.
Yeah.
And I can go back in like a couple of years ago and go back and read the books, and things that I have written there have happened in my life like
Yeah.
years after. But it's funny because when it's a way to create magic when you spell, right? When you write,
Sure.
it's you're engraving an idea into the real world. And when you read it or when you think about it, when you share it, you're bringing that same idea with sound. And then eventually you're going to physically see that idea come to life after all the steps.
Wow. That's incredible. When it comes to art, you know, obviously some pieces can sell for the hundreds of thousands and the millions, some for, let's say, more, more modest costs. What makes a collection or a piece, like what gives it its value, so to say? When you're an artist, you're starting to climb up, and I'm sure you're experiencing this now. You're starting to develop a larger customer base. These are going to be returning customers who are going to have some sort of emotional attachment, and they're going to want to acquire as much of that collection as possible. So I understand that there's an emotional connection. And I think as humans, there's an emotional connection to want to collect, especially if it's kind of an overarching, theme of sorts. So I'm kind of wondering, as an outsider, what
Mm.
what determines the dollar value of a piece of art?
Okay, that's a great question. And um, I can tell you that there are many different factors that influentiate the price or the value that you give to something. But you first have to start looking at this artist trajectory.
Sure.
So, because most of for example, the NFT collections that we see out there on the Solana or the Ethereum network, there are graphic designers or illustrators that put on collections,
Right.
but there are very few artists that have had an art career in the real world with like art exhibits and
Right.
like renowned articles and participating in different charities as well. So it builds up the life of the career. And I feel like that's why you see artists for millions of dollars, but there are also people who have been being artists all their life. So like 40 years in the game, 50 years in the game. I
Right.
have 7 years in the game. So I consider myself a very young artist. I'm like, just this is just the beginning of my career. But at the same time, I've already participated in more than like 50 different
Right.
between art fairs and art events and art exhibits and speaking in art panels as well. So
Wow.
it comes like, I feel like it's the weight of your experience as an artist and how many people have seen your artwork in a way, like because if you have showcased them in big art fairs. So to me personally, what gives my artworks the value is the places that they have been, because I've been moving obviously around the places where I live
Sure.
through my whole art career, and I have to take all these paintings with me everywhere. And sometimes I don't have the space where to put them, so I have to either go to some friends, and my friends can like put them in their walls for a while,
That's
or
cool.
I'm giving them to different restaurants that have requested to have some of my pieces. And I feel like in my personal opinion. Like for me, that's what gives my artworks their value, the places that they have been and the stories that they have gathered.
Wow. So even the paintings have their own journey too, much like we as people.
Yes, I feel like sometimes they choose exactly where they want to be. Like I would paint something and I don't know why, but then when I find the person who falls in love with that piece or the person who's meant to collect it, then I realize like, wow, that's why I made this piece for this person to have this moment and just, have some kind of emotional experience with it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And as far as your personal journey, are there any famous artists that have inspired you or influenced your work? So whether it's a Picasso or a Van Gogh or a Degas or Rembrandt or I guess you could say artists along those lines.
Yes, for sure. One of the artists that definitely have inspired me is Duchamp, Marcel Duchamp.
Okay.
He is a French conceptual artist, and his story is beautiful because he never really cared about being a famous artist and like having a name. He just cared about having fun and just doing whatever he wanted to do. And he
Yeah.
did it. And he inspired so many other artists to become who those other artists were. So he's definitely one of my first people that, as his like life story, really inspired me. And then Jackson Pollock, I love his work. His abstract, huge
Oh,
works
yeah.
are very impressive to me. Basquiat as well. Some
Okay.
people, when they see my paintings in real life, they have told me that they remind themselves of Basquiat. And yeah, so those for sure, I guess my top ones that I feel like influenced me. And other people like in the fashion world, Chanel's story, Chanel's biography also made a really like impact in my life.
Oh, that's awesome. And in terms of art,
Actually, let me tell you
yes,
something
by all
something
means.
something funny.
Sure.
Because we're speaking a lot. I was speaking about this French artist. The word Miss Frey is a French word that means cool. So frais is c'est frais. It means like it's cool, but cool in the weather. It's something fresh, something
Yeah.
cool. And I wanted to adopt this word and mix it with like the English Miss to like feel that I'm bringing something fresh, something cool to the
Right.
space. So
Uh,
that's Miss
I
Frey.
like that. And it's funny when you look at the photo, I guess you could say the paintings, the portraits of Miss Frey, it is, as you could say, a cool, chilly, look on her face too. It's, I think the eyes are more expressive. The face is kind of still in comparison. But my takeaway from it is if I look at Miss
The
Frey,
eyes.
a lot of the eyes are communicating a lot because the facial expressions to me looks serious or looks pensive, like this individual's thinking of something, but it's the eyes I think that are telling the story from the looks of it, because that's I
Is
think
the
the first
eyes
thing you
because
notice. Right.
and you know why? Because the eyes are the windows of the soul, and the soul cannot lie. The soul expresses itself through the eyes. So that's why there are people who are very good with reading people's emotions through their eyes. The eyes don't lie.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. That's a very hard thing to hide. I think people can mask maybe facial expressions, whether it's in their cheeks or around their mouth or their jaw, but the eyes, that's really a hard one to fake. I don't think that is really one. Your I guess you could say the expressions in your eyes. That I don't think that can really be faked, and that definitely makes a lot of sense when looking at this, which is really cool, I have to say. And for 2022, what goals have you set out for yourself as an artist for the Miss Frey collection, and perhaps upcoming or new collections that you have in mind?
100%. So for this year, we are planning to open the Miss Fred DAO with all of our first art collectors and people that have invested in this collection. We
Awesome.
have a beautiful community on Discord. We're so happy that they're going to be able to decide further on with this project which other artists we're going to bring from the real art life space into the NFT space. Um, so with that, the people with these collections will have exclusive benefits for all of our future collections. They're going to have whitelist spots preferences. Also, we're gonna do airdrops as well.
Awesome.
I came up with this thing. It's called the magic potion. So we're gonna
What's the
send
magic
some
potion?
magic potions. So you know how the apes had the mutant serum? The magic potion is pretty much something that it was inspired in it to make your Miss Frey, like to create some magic. So when you mix the Miss Frey NFT with the magic potion, something else will come out, and you don't know
Oh,
what it
that's
is.
very cool. I'm
It's a
definitely looking forward to
surprise.
seeing
Yes, yes,
that.
yes. So also we're launching the Miss Frey marketplace because as we're going to create different NFT collections with others, partnership with other artists, we want to give a 0% fee for our marketplace for the people that are going to have the holders of the NFT collection. And we coming up also with the Frey coin. So the Frey coin,
The
you're
Frey
going
coin.
to
Talk about that.
you can buy NFT collections with the Frey coin and real merch in the metaverse and the real life. We're partnering with launching our first NFT metaverse collection. So you can wear Miss Frey for your avatar, or you can also have the garments shipped to you and wear it in real life, which is, I think that's my most exciting thing that's coming out this year for the project.
That's awesome. So in this ecosystem, if you're using Frey coins, so to say, which I think is really cool, what benefits are there to using, let's say Frey coin to buy a Miss Frey NFT versus like somebody using Bitcoin to buy it?
So we're going to have a stackings
Oh,
of the
staking?
Frey coin for, yeah,
Yeah.
staking for the mix Frey coin and the NFT, and people can get daily rewards if they stake
Oh,
their
very
coin,
nice.
and yeah, so
Wow.
that's what's gonna be in the making. More information coming soon, but that's like a little
Right.
sneak peek here.
And by the way, I know some of this is probably going to be a little bit on the hush hush side because it's in the process, but I presume it's going to be made based off of a Solana blockchain, or is there something else in mind?
So right now our collection is on the Solana blockchain.
Okay.
The second collection that we're launching as well is gonna be in the Solana blockchain. Um, but we are open to have also collaboration with Ethereum or Polygon. There's also a Diamond app. So there are different ways that we're going to allow different people from different coin lovers to have Miss Frey coins and Miss Frey NFTs.
Right. And I have to say, these are very, very ambitious projects, and you already have a lot of momentum going on for you. So I would suggest to anybody, check out Maria Tokareva on Instagram, on Twitter, and you could also check out individually the Miss Frey collection on Twitter and Instagram and all the other major platforms. So with all of these projects going on, and I always like to ask the next set of questions because it's always good to kind of encapsulate and conceptualize the entrepreneur's journey, and which is also, in fact, what you're doing. So, what were some of the biggest obstacles you hit along the way?
Well, one of the biggest obstacles for sure has been marketing. I feel like the marketing strategy for most people that sell out NFT collection is put a lot of money into influencers and people
Right,
just DMing everyone with, buy this NFT or, hyping it up,
right,
which I feel like it's not really for us the way to go because our mission is not just sell out an NFT collection and disappear. We want to build the community. We want to do it like step by step, and we understand. And we also don't have the marketing budget to do what other people do.
right,
So that was one of the challenges to see kind of like a lot of people taking advantage of the this new space and a lot of like promoters saying, yes, we're going to help you. And then at the end of the day, they just want to
Right. And there's no
charge the
follow.
money,
Right.
there's, yeah, like most of their followers could be bots. And so there's a lot of
Right.
people who at the beginning you would think like, oh, they want to help us, but then you realize like, no, they don't really care about, they have hundreds of people lined up to just, and
Yeah.
all the flippers, the JPEG flippers as they call them, um, people that only want to buy and then sell for maybe
Right.
like point 0.1, point 0.2 x more. They don't really care about the project. They just want to have like a flip, like
Right.
you
It's
buy
like
a
it's like
house,
it's like day
you flip
trading
it.
for like art for like for like art collectors. That's what it looks like to me.
Exactly. And that actually takes the value of the collection down, because if there is not going to be demand on the secondary market if people just flip it for, for whatever.
Wow.
And that's one of the challenges. So yeah, so like we rather give the community value through different workshops that we're doing, through panels, through events, through like for example, for Art Basel last year, which I think it wasn't even Art Basel anymore, it was like Crypto Week, because everything was about
Right.
NFTs, and they're like all the artworks were just 90% NFTs, 10% artworks.
Wow.
So, but we did participated with a Basel, with Decentral. I was a speaker along with um, Duncan Koch. He's the co-founder of Nifty Gateway,
Oh,
and
yes.
Nicole Sales. She's the business director for Christie's, and that was a really good panel. That was something that it was
Wow.
my first time speaking in public, and I felt like I was so nervous, but it went really good. We were with Loading Festival on the beach, with Unrevealed, which was, I feel like, one of the biggest ones after Decentral, and the Fake Art Agency. We also did exhibited with them, so it was a lot of things going on. And Miami here is, I feel like, the crypto city in the whole
Yeah.
United States. There's so many events going on every single weekend. And the FTX Arena, like American Airlines Arena, they changed their name. Now it's FTX.
Right.
I feel like I feel like I'm in the right place for now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know, I think otherwise people would expect areas like, New York or San Francisco or other places to be like the next tech hub, but Miami has really assumed that role in a very, very smooth and, you could say, colorful way. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of enthusiasm with this space, and Miami seems to be at the center of it. So, you're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly in the right place to, say the
In the
very
right
least.
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
2017, I was invited, 2018, I was invited for the blockchain shift. It was hosted in Manaus, in what is one of the biggest
Right.
spaces to like to do any kind of fairs. And I had no idea about NFTs. I, knew about Bitcoin and crypto, but not that much. And I went there and I participated and I showcased my artwork. And from them, I guess it was very big, and all the people that were participating kept doing other art first, and I kept getting invited to showcase my artwork at these crypto events, even though my artwork was not really crypto kind of like driven, or I wasn't talking about Bitcoin. I was just
Right.
my girls. And I always wanted to know, like, okay, how can I mix both things together without having to draw, like, crypto stuff, because most of these crypto artists, they draw things that are related to crypto.
Sure.
So finally I was able to mix both of them together through this NFT collection,
That's
and that
awesome.
was amazing.
And kind of going back to the collection aspect, what is the feeling when somebody buys a piece of your art? Now it's all good to, like, make money off the transaction, but what's the feeling as far as somebody, I guess you can say, going to your gallery or going to the website, buying the NFT or buying a piece? There has to be something special or transformative going on, because I can only imagine, like, if I was to think, if I created a piece, somebody walked in and bought it to keep it, not to flip it or any of those other issues. I would imagine that has to feel amazing.
Yes, it's the support. It's the
Yeah,
support to know that what I'm doing matters to someone out there, that someone likes it, that it produces happiness to that person, that one of the most beautiful things that somebody wrote about in the collection in the Discord group, they say, you know what? I will never be selling these NFTs. I'm a holder for life. I believe in this project.
right.
And that to me is like, wow, they don't only like the art, but they also like the message behind it. I don't know if I talk about it, but I'm wearing the best day ever
Best day ever.
sweatshirt,
Yeah,
and
talk
this
about
is
that. Talk
one of,
about that little theme and I guess you could say philosophy of yours.
yes, yes. So some of the girls in the collection have this saying along them, and I just one day wanted to experience a very beautiful, amazing day that I decided to name the best day ever. And as kind of like an experiment, I say, what if I start saying every single day to myself as I wake up that today is the best day ever? Like, what's
Mhm.
going to happen then? Is it going to happen? And day after day after day, your brain kind of like starts picking up the best moments throughout the day, and at the end of the day forms the memory of all the amazing things that happened to you, which comes to be the best day ever. And if every morning I kept repeating myself that, my brain automatically would start picking the best things and experiences for me, and it's incredible. One day after the next would become better than the one before, just because I put like this mantra out there, or like the belief out there that it happens. And that's one of the things that I want to bring too. Like when people look at the art and they say, oh, best day ever, they're like, oh, it reminds them, like, oh, today
Yeah,
there is a new opportunity to have the best day ever and to choose to do what you love and to create magic and share it with other people.
that's wonderful. And I was wondering too, since creating a piece of art, it's a very energy intensive, emotionally intensive project, undertaking to do. There has to be something to kind of balance out that. Like, is there something that you do to de-stress yourself, some type of hobby or activity? Because I can imagine if you don't have something like that, probably your head is always going to be obsessing over art 24/7. And I think maybe if that happens, that could probably exhaust people. Like, do a lot of artists have some sort of activity to kind of balance out that intensity, from the week?
Well, I love to walk every single day. I have a newborn that is 3 months right now, so every
Right.
morning we go on a walk around like 1 hour, an hour and a half, and I just, feel the breeze. I breathe the air. It's a form of meditation. I also
Yes.
started doing yoga. I used to do yoga before, and now I'm getting back into it slowly. So those
That's
two
great.
things really, I feel like it's something that I can channel that energy as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I know we already touched on this, but maybe you can unpack this a little bit more. But what are some of your largest successes, or at least what you consider some of your largest successes so far as an artist, as an NFT artist, keeping in mind everything we've discussed so far?
Okay, well, one of the things that I would say is the participation in the art fairs during Art Basel Week through the years, every single year, from the Ex Contemporary, Red Dot Art Fair, Art Decentralized, North Miami American Bitcoin Conference. I was also invited to showcase my artworks there. Let's see, the blockchain shift in Manam. In Colombia, I also was chosen to do this very cool art exhibit at one of these very famous hotels. It's called the Charlie Hotel in
Wow.
Medellin, and it was always my dream when I saw that they were building this place. I remember it was in construction, and I was like, wow, this place is gonna be cool. And when they opened in it, and then everybody started going, like all the top people started going there, and I went there and I said, you know what? I want my art in this world.
Uh,
And I think it was
yeah.
3 or 4 years later, they did. They invited different artists to showcase, and I was participating, and they gave me like the best floor. It was called the 11th floor art exhibit, and the 11th floor was the one with all my artworks. I guess that's one of the highlights of my career, I guess, and my personal goals. Um, I also did a mural in a very dangerous place in Medellin called La Sierra, and there is also a documentary about this, I think, in Netflix. It's been one of the most
Oh wow.
dangerous neighborhoods that back in the days, nobody could come inside this neighborhood and nobody could come out. It was like you would die, if
Yeah.
you did not live there. Even for food, people were not able to get food. They had to go walking out, like to be able to get food to this neighborhood. But one of my friends, she does a lot of different charity work, and now she had an agreement with the people in there because it's still a dangerous place, but
Yeah.
now you still can have access. And she said we wanted to do an activity with the kids that live there to paint. So I was invited as an artist. We painted with the kids. These kids were
Oh, that's
so
very
happy.
nice.
We were just like doing, they were telling me, when are you guys gonna come back? Because for them, like they still cannot have access to go outside of this neighborhood.
Right.
That was one of the things that to me was like, okay, wow, this is cool, and I want to continue doing it. And also upcoming up, there is a project in Mexico on February 22nd in Polanco. I did a collaboration with a group of photographers that it's a project for the preservation of animals in danger of extinction. It's called
Oh, very
Animal
nice.
Karma, the foundation. And we were given a big photograph of one of the animals in danger of extinction, and we intervened the photograph. And then they did a book, which is an augmented reality book that comes with an app, and when you scan the pages of each one of
Oh
the
yeah.
artists, you can see
I like
the
those.
artworks moving. It was so nice. It took a while to do it. So finally, they're going to have this exhibit and we're going to have an auction for each one of the art pieces. And I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah, I mean, I
wonderful.
guess, yeah, this is some of the things that like comes to my mind right now that I'm proud of.
Yeah. And I would imagine so far you probably have a lot of aspiring artists reach out to you or come up to you asking for advice. So do you mentor any upcoming artists yourself?
Well, when I started, maybe like 3 4 years ago, I've had people come to me that one of the artists, Do What You Love artists here in Miami.
Yeah.
It was very very cool see the transition of him as somebody that wanted to create art and then immerse himself fully into being a full-time artist and living from his artworks and doing NFT collections as well. I
Yeah.
have Jafas, which is an artist from Colombia who's very talented. He does beautiful murals, very like very colorful too, and he has his own characters as well.
Wow.
And Ana Carolina. So I have a couple of other artists right now that are also in this kind of verge from converting from real life to NFT. And yes, I love that. I love sharing what I have learned through all this career life, and that's one of my passions to share what I've learned and to help other people as in any way that I can.
Yeah. And that's absolutely wonderful too, I have to say. And as you were going about working as an artist, creating pieces of art, portraits and collection pieces, so to say, were there a lot of, let's say, naysayers, detractors, people like, Maria, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, Maria, maybe there's something else you should be considering, especially with like NFTs and
Always.
stuff like that. So I can imagine, like, there's there's always I guess you could say, negative people. They could be friends, they could be family, these could just be other people in the industry, and I'm sure everybody has their own motives, behind it as
Mhm.
well. So I'm kind of curious, how much of that did you encounter?
So I feel like there were more people maybe that didn't understood what I was doing.
Sure.
So for them was hard to understand and to comprehend like why would people buy something online that was a digital that anybody can what they say like right click and save
Right.
or like what was the value, what was a digital contract. Maybe it was more that people not having enough education about the space, so therefore having doubts about, like, how to really go about this.
Yeah.
But not a lot of like negativity. No, I felt a lot of support actually from the people around me. They really told me, like, this is something cool. We don't know what it is, we don't understand it, but go ahead and do it, and we will promote it if we can and support you. So,
Okay. And the next
so
question I have is a two-part question, and it kind of ties into one or two of the questions I just asked. But what's the best part about being an artist and an NFT artist, and what's the worst part about being an artist and NFT artist?
the best part, I would say, is the ability to showcase your artwork to anyone in the world. It's like it's global. It's not limited to a space or time. Um, Also, the community of NFT is very supportive. They are very
That's great.
welcoming of other people. They're very, like, support different projects. So that's what I love. It's not at all a competition. It's more like an encouragement of working together. And
That's great.
and that's what I love, because in the fashion world, for example, in the real art world, there is competition. There is,
I can
kind of like
imagine. Yeah.
it's tension out there.
Without
But
naming
I feel
names,
like the
but do you
NFT
have
community.
any direct competitors? Like I said, without naming names, but do you know of anybody or a group of people who are actively competing with you?
And none that I know particularly.
Okay.
I've had people that have stolen my artworks
Yeah.
or my like clothes collection, which I think is kind of like, in a way, is like, okay, somebody is willing to risk their freedom,
Right.
right? Because they can
Somebody's
go to
willing to go to jail
jail
for this. It's
for this. Exactly, like, it means that I'm doing something good.
a
People
good way of
want me,
looking
so
at
I'm
it.
gonna continue doing it. Exactly, I'm like, okay, you stole this one, that's fine, I'm gonna go make another 10, so don't worry.
Right. And I guess you may have answered it already. The worst part about being an artist, would you say it's things like people trying to steal your art, especially if you spend tens or perhaps hundreds of hours, maybe even years in some cases, creating something? And maybe I would imagine in this industry too, maybe it's hard to tell sometimes who your friends or enemies are too. That's what it sounds like to me. It can be that way.
It can be that way, yeah. It can. There's a lot of people that will come, and I would call them like energy vampires, like just
Right.
people that come to you, and they start taking your time and your
Uh,
energy without you even
yeah.
knowing about it.
That's a good
I
way of
guess that's
yeah, saying it, yeah. Energy
that's
vampires.
something you have to definitely watch for. Yeah, you never know, because sometimes it could be people that are close to you and you don't know, and you're giving all this energy,
Yeah.
and it's
No,
hard
I
to break
agree.
that cycle.
Yeah, it's I look at it this, it's like, you finish talking with this person and you feel exhausted. You feel like you got to drink
Exhausted.
coffee or you got to take a nap or something. It's like, why do I feel this
100%.
way after speaking with this person? And you can't always put your finger on it either. Like there's just sometimes you meet people and sometimes it's awesome. You feel reinvigorated, you feel energetic, and sometimes you're like, that was such a downer. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
sometimes you have to kind of follow your gut when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah, those
wanted to.
experiences make you
Yes,
appreciate the good ones, the ones that
yes,
invigorate you and empower you.
yes. And I know you've mentioned this already, I guess, with some of the themes in your art. But what is your personal philosophy?
My personal philosophy, okay, so I believe that every day is the best day ever. I believe
Yeah,
that magic happens when you believe in yourself and you create your life. You choose and you design your dreams to experience them in this reality through love, because love is real and love is
yeah,
the glue of all these experiences, people, projects, And
Yeah.
that's my philosophy of life. That's what I choose to believe, that, happiness overall. I like to see the glass half
Half
full
full, right.
always. I'm
Yeah.
very positive. I know, like, no matter what happens in my day, there's always a solution for this. There's always something to learn from every experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a very good way of, conceptualizing or perceiving the world. And, almost as a practical matter, it's almost pointless to be negative because let's say if you're negative and you are right, then you didn't make any effort to, I guess, think of other solutions, and you more or less accepted a possibility of something that has happened. So I feel that there's almost no value to be extracted from that. I do think if you're positive, on one hand, I think it makes you emotionally stronger, to be honest. But I think it also allows you to look at solutions and maybe not so obvious or subtle areas. So it seems to me it's like having a radar on and having a radar off, type of thing. So I think if you're thinking positive, you can probably draw more from experiences with people and situations and just anything. When you go outside, maybe you see the ocean, you see the sky, or you see a rock or something. Like, you can draw from that. And I think if you're negative, I think you kind of shut off a lot of those types of abilities. And you know I never, just personally speaking, oh, by the way, I agree with you. I never saw a real value in being negative. And by the way, even if you're right, it's almost like it's almost pointless because you're just kind of draining yourself, so to say, without
Exactly.
any real good reason to.
I would say, like, when you have negative emotions or when you feel sad or something, like it doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
there's always a way to channel that emotion and transform it into something. So, for example, I'm gonna read you a poem that
Please
I
do.
wrote sometime when I was sad, and maybe the situation, was sad, but I was able to transform it into something that now I can maybe inspire other people. And it goes like this: In every turn, I see the ghost of love in the shape of death. My soul can no longer believe that love can heal a broken heart. That's
Wow.
it.
No, but
But
now you've got me
like
thinking
it's
about it.
like
Now it's like, wow. Where can I read that? Is that actually online, or is that just your journal?
it's one of my journals, yeah. Like,
Okay.
but what I'm gonna do is eventually I'm going to take some of these poems and things that I have written in my books, and I'm going to publish a book with those. So then
Yeah.
then maybe you can have it like a coffee table book in your house. But
Yeah, because I was gonna say it's kind of started dark, but it's strikingly optimistic at the same time too. So it's no, I like that contrast, to say the least. And and on an ending note, what advice would you give to anybody who's trying to do what you do? Because especially being a woman, being an entrepreneur, being a female artist, you know, there may be little girls who see what you're doing and they're gonna think, I can do that too. They may be
yeah.
inspired by your very efforts in each step of this process. So, what advice or what good vibes would you put out there?
Okay, so first of all, always know that whatever your dream is, it will come true. Like, believe in yourself 100%. Surround yourself with people that will believe in you, that will uplift you, that will raise your energy. Um, Read, go out there, do your own investigations. Like, don't just settle for one piece of article. Make sure that you learn in this space, because there's so much information. It's constantly changing and evolving. Even with NFTs, we don't know the future of NFTs. Like, we're
Right,
still trying to figure it out. But knowledge is your best friend. Like, it's power. Knowledge is something that nobody can take away from you. When you know something, you are more confident about it.
right.
You are more strong. You can make things happen. So I would say that information, create your community, make sure that if it's artwork, what you wanna, because it can be also music. There are music NFTs, not only like paintings and artworks, and it's gonna evolve into different things. But as long as you have their community, you are doing it every single day, sharing, using social media to let other people know about your project and what you're doing. It's one of the best, I guess, pieces of advice that I can give you guys. It's something that has helped me, and that's how we met, with
Right.
Adam, just by somewhere out there in the
Yeah.
web galaxy. We connected,
Yeah.
and
And
here we
and
are
by the
now.
way, the funny story is that, we both know Joy, and like I mentioned, her avatar on, I think, almost all of her social media, I think for the most part, is a one of your pictures of Miss Frey. And then, like I said, on other user profiles, I've seen that as well. So I guess those must be other collectors out there. And also, I would have sworn I've already seen it in Miami before too. I was just there a few months ago. So, like I said, I don't. It's just association, and I have seen Miss Frey. Um, I guess you could say trademark. The Miss Frey picture at numerous places. Over time. So, I don't know if you call it a sign or something like that, but I think there is something very transformative or transcending about art. Maybe as to how we're all linked as people, or something along those.
Definitely, 100%. And Joy is such a beautiful person. I
She
feel
is.
like her energy,
Oh
the
yeah,
things that she creates, and she believes she connects people together through all her
yeah.
different outlets out there. She helps artists. She really did such beautiful write-ups about my work. She connected with it, and now we are connected through her. So yes, art and the people that are supposed to be in your life, they will come in the right moment where you're prepared for it, when you're ready for it. And those people will help you kind of create more of what you're doing and bring other people together to help you. And that's the most beautiful thing, that all humans are collaborating together. They are doing something within each other. It's not this individual, like, oh, me and
Right.
competition. No, it's like us together. What can we create? How can we use our mutual talents to bring something of value to the community? For example, right now, we're using information and technology, and the way you are putting out this beautiful live stream
Oh, thank
for
you.
other people to know about this. So no, thank you, because it wouldn't be possible without you guiding,
Oh,
this
thank
beautiful
you.
live stream.
Well, it's a great experience for me because I get to learn, but viewers get to learn, but also more importantly, you know, uh, blockchain is a very transformative technology, and I think it's more than just Bitcoin. And I think for people who don't like this, they like to dismiss it as that. Oh, it's just Bitcoin. Oh, it's just Ethereum. And I really do believe 99% of the success is actually going to be from use cases, whether it's supply chains or whether it's art. And we're already seeing all of this, play out. And listen, I like Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more to this, so to say. There's a lot of substance behind many of these projects and many of these things happening. So I think with all of these very interesting projects going on, I think it would be nice if more people know about it. It's not just Bitcoin price movements all day. There's a lot of other, in my opinion, cooler stuff going on out there. You know, making essentially a asset, a piece of art from essentially this code, these algorithms. This is something worth talking about. This is something worth unpacking and really digging into. So your art is incredible, and I would say to anybody, if you're getting into NFT art, you're looking for somewhere to start, you're looking to build your own collection, then I would say to anybody, start at missfrey.io. So that's spelled Frais. Start there, check out the website. You can go to the NFT section, You'll see the collection, and you can see the pieces that are available. You can read a bio about today's artist, Maria Tokareva, and you can also see the roadmap and how this technology works using Solana, using the Phantom wallet to store your art securely. So, you don't have to worry about, things like hackers and, the usual stuff that's out there. And also, art collections are not just going to be for, let's say, museums, and you can just say, the blue-blooded ultra wealthy. Now, anybody, anywhere can start building their collection and call themselves an art collector and really start where they are. You know, they don't have to per se, let's say, go to cocktail parties at country clubs to start getting into, art collection. You can really be where you are, whether it's where I am, where Maria is, or anywhere. And you can just, through your phone, through your laptop, through your desktop, start acquiring, start building your collection. And I guess you could say, start feeling those feelings that a lot of art collectors do have. And I will say this, from looking at different pieces of art myself, it does evoke feelings. And I would say to anybody, give it a shot. There's an NFT art gallery right here in New York City called Super Chief Art Gallery. You can start there. You can even start at MissFrey.io. Look at that gallery. See what comes to mind. And like I said, it is subjective, your feelings. So there isn't one feeling that goes with this. But I will say what I took away from it is that most of the emotion is in the eyes. That is the part that jumped out to me the most. And what I thought too, between the clothed portraits and the naked ones, I thought the naked ones were kind of purer, more vulnerable, more open, and the clothed ones are more guarded, more cynical, or just more questioning of things. So, but I'm not saying I'm right, but like I'm saying, this is what I ended up taking away from it as I looked at it. So, you know, I would behoove anybody, check out MissFrey.io, start there and see what you feel. And you know what? Move through those feelings. See what you feel, move through it, see what you want to do, see what you want to get. And I have to say on an ending note, Maria, it was an absolute pleasure having you come on and discuss this. I think more people should understand this. And some of the best ways through conversation. You can cover a lot of ground. You can break down complex, dense things into very much smaller, more engaging, conversation pieces and talking bits. And I would say to anybody too, be on the lookout for Freycoin and the new platform coming up this year as well. And when it does, Maria, I think you should absolutely come back on and let's unpack it and go through it and show everybody what you're doing with Freycoin and what you plan on doing with the platform.
Definitely. I would love to come again. I would love to bring some of my team as well
That'd
so
be
they can
awesome.
share more of the technical side of it. And yes, Adam, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you,
Likewise.
sharing this information, sharing this magic. And I wish you and everyone watching this to have the beautiful, most beautiful best day ever. And I believe in your dreams. Anyone that wants to reach out with any doubts or any questions, I'm happy to always share, my knowledge and my information and my time.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, thank you so much. I've
Beautifully
had so
said.
much fun. As we say, I'm leaving this conversation very fulfilled with energy. You
Same here.
made my day really. So thank you so much.
And thank you as well. I'm really excited to see your projects play out this year in Freycoin and the expansion of your collection and everything else. So I'll be rooting for you.
Yay. And I wanted to ask you, is
Sure.
this going to be able, so for the people who weren't able to be live with us today, is there a link or somewhere where we're going to be able to see it?
Yes. So to answer that, so I will be putting out the Spotify link shortly for this. So for anybody who
Wonderful.
missed this, you can either go on Spotify to look at it. It's also broadcasting on Twitter and Facebook at the same time as well. Of course, you can find the LinkedIn live stream link available as well that we are essentially on right now. But I would say since Spotify is so popular, I'm going to have that link up shortly. So for anybody who wasn't able to tune in, listen, you can sit back and put on your Bluetooth earphones and just relax and listen to this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Sending you a big hug here from
Thank you.
Miami.
Thank you. sending you
Hopefully
sending you a
see
big
you
hug of
over
sorts
here
from chilly
soon.
New York, where it's all snow and ice up here.
All right. Well, have a beautiful night. Take
And you as
care,
well.
and I will see you very soon.
Right. See you soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.